Gabrielle had always dreamed of America as a place where reinvention wasn't just possible. It was expected. Born in the sun-baked alleys of Seville to a family of flamenco dancers who scraped by on tips from tourists, she grew up weaving stories into every step of her intricate routines. At 28, with her dark curls tied back and her brown eyes sharp as the edge of a castanet, she was the star of her troupe, but the applause never filled the void left by her parents' endless arguments and her sister's shadow, always one spotlight brighter. America, with its promise of green cards and fresh starts, was her escape hatch from a life scripted by tradition. But dreams have a way of twisting into nightmares. When her visa application for a guest artist spot in New York fell through, denied on some bureaucratic technicality, Gabrielle's world narrowed to a single desperate option: marriage. Not to a lover, not even to a friend, but to a stranger. Her cousin in Madrid knew a guy in the States who knew a woman, an American expat named Hope, living in Seville on sabbatical from her corporate job in Chicago. "It's just paperwork," her cousin had said over a hurried coffee. "You get your green card, she gets whatever Americans get from helping out. Tax write-offs or something." Hope Whitaker, 32, with her short blonde crop and blue eyes that could cut glass, wasn't the type to play savior. She'd come to Seville 6 months earlier, fleeing a promotion that felt like a cage and a family back home who still whispered about her phase with college girlfriends. Hope was a marketing exec, the kind who closed deals over craft IPAs and justified her restlessness with TED Talks on work-life balance. Spain was her reset button. Mornings in tapas bars sketching ad campaigns on napkins. Afternoons wandering the Alcazar lost in its labyrinthine gardens. She wasn't looking for complications, least of all a sham wedding. They met in a cramped notary's office on a sweltering August afternoon, the air thick with the scent of ink and old paper. Gabrielle arrived in a sundress that hugged her dancer's frame, nerves making her fingers drum a silent rhythm on her thigh. Hope, in khakis and a linen shirt rolled to her elbows, extended a hand that was cool and steady. "Hope," she said simply, her Midwestern accent clipping the word like a business card. "Gabrielle," she replied, her English flawless from years of charming tourists, but laced with the soft lilt of Andalusia. They signed the papers in silence, the notary's stamp echoing like a gavel. Afterward, Hope suggested coffee, not out of romance but efficiency. "We should make this believable," she said over cortados at a corner cafe. "If immigration digs, they'll want photos, stories, shared life." Gabrielle nodded, stirring sugar she didn't need. "See, like a real marriage." But even then something stirred. A flicker in Hope's eyes, not pity but recognition. Two women building a facade from fragments of their own hidden selves. The first weeks were a performance, rehearsed and wrote. They rented a tiny apartment in Triana, the gypsy heart of Seville, where the Guadalquivir River whispered secrets to the bridges at night. Hope's visa allowed her to stay another year, so the marriage doubled as a cover for Gabrielle's pending adjustment from abroad. They posed for selfies at the Plaza de España, Hope's arm slung casually around Gabrielle's waist, both smiling like newlyweds on honeymoon. "Lean in closer," Hope murmured once, her breath warm against Gabrielle's ear. "For authenticity." Gabrielle laughed it off, but authenticity was a dangerous word. Nights were the hardest. Hope slept on the couch, her laptop glowing late into the whiskey hours, pitching remote campaigns to keep her job afloat. Gabrielle practiced solos in the living room, her bare feet slapping the tiled floor until the neighbors banged on the walls. One evening, after a particularly brutal rehearsal where she twisted an ankle, Gabrielle found Hope icing her own knuckles, punched a wall in frustration over a delayed email from USICE. "Here," Gabrielle said, taking the ice pack and pressing it gently to Hope's hand. Their fingers brushed and time stuttered. Hope's skin was freckled, her grip surprisingly soft. "Why are you doing this?" "Really?" Gabrielle asked, the question slipping out like a misstep. Hope looked away, toward the balcony where geraniums dripped red against the sunset. "My sister's getting married next month. Real deal white dress, the works. Mom wants me there with someone to prove I'm settled. It's easier than explaining." She shrugged, but her voice held the weight of old wounds. Thanksgivings where she'd been the punchline, Christmases dodging questions about boyfriends. Gabrielle understood silences like that. Her family revered La Familia above all, but their love came laced with expectations. Marry a nice Andalusian boy. Carry on the dance lineage. Her own flings with women, stolen kisses in dressing rooms, a summer affair with a guitarist in Granada, were ghosts she buried deep. Then we're both running, she said softly. From ghosts. That night they shared the bed for the first time. Not as lovers but allies. The mattress sagged in the middle, forcing their shoulders to touch. Gabrielle lay awake, listening to Hope's steady breathing, the rise and fall like a rhythm she could almost dance to. Outside, flamenco guitars wailed from a nearby taberna, a soundtrack to their fragile truce. As autumn deepened, the performance blurred into something perilously real. Hope started joining Gabrielle at rehearsals, perched on a rickety stool with a notebook, jotting marketing ideas that were really sketches of Gabrielle mid-spin, her skirt flaring like a flame. "You move like you're fighting gravity," Hope said one day, handing over a thermos of café con leche. Gabrielle flushed, unused to praise that saw beyond the steps. In return, Gabrielle dragged Hope to the Feria de Abril's Echoes, late-night processions where saint statues swayed on flower-decked platforms, and the air hummed with anticipation. They ate churros dusted in sugar, Hope's laughter bubbling up when Gabrielle taught her a basic zapateado, the heel-stomping rhythm that shook the ground. "I'm hopeless," Hope gasped, doubled over. "No," Gabrielle corrected, pulling her upright. "You're hopeful. That's different." Their hands lingered, palms slick with sweat, and for a heartbeat, the world narrowed to the heat between them. But Seville's magic has teeth. Hope's family called weekly, her mother's voice tinny through the phone. "When are you bringing this Gabrielle home? We want grandbabies someday." Hope would mute the line, mouthing apologies, while Gabrielle pretended not to hear the barbs about foreign entanglements. Meanwhile, Gabrielle's troupe whispered her American wife, a scandal in a world where love was still scripted by gender roles. Her sister Elena cornered her after a show. "This marriage is a joke, Gabby. Mama's heartbroken. Find a real man or you'll end up alone." The pressure coiled like smoke from a cigar. USCIS approved the green card interview for spring, contingent on proof of a bona fide relationship. They ramped up the charade. Joint bank statements, love letters forged in hurried script. Gabrielle's cursive swirling with passion she half felt. One letter, penned after a bottle of Rioja, confessed too much. "In your eyes I see a home I never knew I craved." Hope read it aloud one rainy afternoon, her voice catching. "This is good. Too good." She set it down and the space between them hummed. Gabrielle leaned in, testing, her lips brushing Hope's cheek. Hope froze, then turned, their mouths meeting in a kiss that tasted of salt and surrender. It was tentative at first, then fierce. A dam breaking after months of restraint. They pulled apart, gasping, foreheads pressed together. "Is this part of the act?" Gabrielle whispered, heart pounding. Hope's fingers traced her jaw. "No. This is us." What followed was a whirlwind of stolen intimacies. Dawn walks along the river, where Hope's hand slipped into Gabrielle's without pretense. Lazy Sundays cooking paella, Hope chopping onions with comical inefficiency while Gabrielle sang old rancheras. Love bloomed quiet and fierce, rooted in the soil of their shared deceptions. Hope talked of Chicago brownstones and autumn leaves. Gabrielle of Broadway stages and the freedom to love without whispers. "We'll make it real," Hope promised, as they lay tangled in sheets that smelled of jasmine. "After the interview we start over. Together." But promises are fragile as Guadalquivir glass. In December, Hope's ex-girlfriend from college, Mia, a sleek attorney with a knack for showing up uninvited, arrived in Seville on business. Mia, with her designer scarves and knowing smiles, had never quite let go. She crashed their Christmas market stroll, linking arms with Hope like old times. "Heard about the green card gig," she said airily, eyes flicking to Gabrielle. "Quaint. But Hope, darling, you deserve better than a pity project." Gabrielle excused herself, fleeing to the apartment where the tree they decorated with mismatched ornaments mocked her. Hope followed, furious. "She's nothing. A ghost. Then why does she look at you like she owns you?" Gabrielle shot back, voice raw. The fight escalated, words like knives slicing at insecurities. "This was always temporary for you. A story to tell at parties." Hope recoiled. "And for you? Just a ticket out." They didn't speak for days. Hope slept in a hotel. Gabrielle drowned in rehearsals, her dances turning jagged, each step a accusation. The green card loomed, a guillotine over their fragile world. New Year's Eve brought reconciliation under fireworks that lit the sky like fallen stars. They met at the cathedral, bells tolling midnight. "I'm sorry," Hope said, pulling Gabrielle into the shadows. "Mia's the past. You're my future." They kissed as the crowd cheered, but doubt lingered like the chill in the air. January thawed the ice, but Mia hadn't left. She lingered, helping with the paperwork, her fingers brushing Hope's too often. Gabrielle saw the emails, late-night catch-ups that turned flirtatious. Paranoia set in. She rifled through Hope's phone one afternoon, finding texts. "Miss our adventures. Seville's not the same without you." Betrayal burned like battery acid. That night at a troop dinner, Gabrielle confronted Hope in the alley behind the taberna. "Choose," she demanded, rain starting to fall. "Her or me?" Hope hesitated, a fatal pause. "I need time, Gabby. This is complicated." Gabrielle's laugh was bitter. "Time? We've built a lie on borrowed moments. I thought it was real." She tore off the ring, pressing it into Hope's palm. "Go back to your uncomplicated life. I'll find my own way to America." She walked away, the rain masking her tears, leaving Hope alone with the weight of what she'd almost had. The severance cut deeper than Gabrielle expected. Seville, once a canvas of possibility, turned oppressive. Its orange trees mocking her with fruit she couldn't reach, its bridges spanning rivers she no longer wanted to cross. She threw herself into the troupe, performing with a ferocity that earned whispers of possessed. Elena noticed, of course. "What's this American done to you?" her sister asked over post-show sangria, eyes narrowing. "Nothing," Gabrielle lied, tracing the rim of her glass. "Just reality catching up." But reality was a green card application stalled in limbo, a lease in her name alone, and a heart stitched with Hope's fingerprints. Mia had whisked Hope away to Madrid for a work trip, or so the mutual friends texted. Updates Gabrielle devoured like poison. Hope, meanwhile, unraveled in the sterile anonymity of chain hotels. Mia's presence was a bomb and a blister. Familiar arguments over wine, laughter that echoed hollow. "See? This is us," Mia purred one night, her hand on Hope's thigh. But Hope pulled away, the ghost of Gabrielle's kiss lingering. She stared at her phone, the unsent texts piling up. "I chose wrong. Come back." Deleting them felt like amputation. Back in Seville, the troupe's director announced a U.S. tour 3 weeks in New York, starting in April. "A chance to shine, Gabby," he said, clapping her shoulder. It was the break she chased, but without the green card it meant tourist status. No work, no staying. Desperation clawed at her. She could go, perform on a lark, then vanish into America's underbelly. Busking in subways, crashing with expat artists. But the risk terrified her. What if she got caught? Deported back to a family that saw her as the black sheep? Elena offered a lifeline. "Marry Raul. He's steady, from a good family. Mama would approve." Raul, the troupe's guitarist, with his easy smile and calloused hands. He'd proposed once, half-joking, after a gig. It would solve everything: stability, approval, a path to normalcy. Gabrielle toyed with the idea, letting him buy her dinners, his touches chaste but insistent. "Think about it," he'd say, eyes hopeful. But normalcy tasted like ash. Late nights, Gabrielle wandered Triana's streets, passing the apartment she and Hope had shared. The balcony geraniums were wilted, a metaphor too on the nose. One evening she found herself at the Alcazar, the garden silvered by moonlight. There, under the myrtle groves where lovers once whispered, she broke, sobbing into her hands, the weight of unlived dreams crushing her. Fate or coincidence intervened. A street vendor, an old woman with a cart of astrological charts, pressed a card into her palm. "For lost souls," she murmured. It led Gabrielle to a hidden bar in the Barrio Santa Cruz, a haven for Seville's quiet queers, women with stories etched in their laughs. There, over absinthe that burned like truth, she met Sophia. 35, a painter with ink-stained fingers and a divorce under her belt. Sophia listened as Gabrielle spilled. The sham marriage, the betrayal, the ache for a place to belong. "You're not broken, Carino," Sophia said, her voice a steady anchor. "You're blooming late. America will wait." They danced that night, slow and close, to a jukebox crooning Billie Holiday. It wasn't love, not yet, But it was healing. A reminder that desire didn't have to end in wreckage. Hope returned to Seville in February, Mia trailing like smoke. The apartment felt haunted. She half expected Gabrielle's laughter from the kitchen. Instead she found dust and echoes. Their mutual friend, Luca from the troupe, cornered her at a cafe. "You've ruined her, you know. Gabi's talking about marrying Raul. Settling." The words landed like a slap. Hope drove to the rehearsal hall, heart slamming. Gabrielle was there, mid-pirouette, sweat gleaming on her skin. She faltered when she saw Hope in the doorway, the music grinding to a halt. "What do you want?" Gabrielle asked, wiping her face with a towel. The troupe melted away, sensing the storm. "To apologize. Properly." Hope stepped forward, voice raw. "Mia was a mistake, a reflex. I panicked because this scares me. My family, the job, the whole American dream they shoved down my throat. But you? You're the realest thing I've ever touched." Gabrielle's laugh was sharp. "Real? We built this on lies. And now, with the tour coming, I need certainty. Raul offers that." Hope's face crumpled. "Don't. Please. Let's fix the interview, make it real. I love you, Gabby. Not the green card, not the show you." The words hung, heavy as the incense from a nearby procession. Gabrielle wanted to believe, but trust was a scar now. "Love isn't enough when it's conditional," she said finally. "Go back to Mia. She doesn't make you choose." Hope left with the rain, but not before slipping a note into Gabrielle's bag. A one-way ticket to New York post-tour. "If you won't wait for me, at least chase your dream. I'll be there." The tour loomed like a judgment. Gabrielle boarded the plane in March, visa stamped for 30 days. Raul's proposal a question mark in her pocket. New York assaulted her. Skyscrapers clawing the sky, streets pulsing with a rhythm faster than flamenco. The troupe shows in off-Broadway theaters drew crowds, critics praising her raw Andalusian fire. But off-stage isolation gnawed. She crashed in a walk-up in the village, sharing a pull-out with Elena, who flew over as chaperone. "See? This is what family does," Elena said, oblivious to the subtext. Hope's presence haunted the city. A postcard arrived at the theater. "Watching from afar. Proud." Gabrielle crumpled it, but kept the ticket stub from a solo night at a jazz club, where she danced to Ella Fitzgerald, tears mixing with sweat. Mid-tour crisis struck. USCIS flagged the green card file. Irregularities in the timeline. Whispers of fraud from an anonymous tip. Mia, Hope learned later, had concerned a contact at immigration, jealous and spiteful. The letter arrived in Seville, forwarded to New York. Interview cancelled. Application under review. Deportation loomed if unresolved. Gabrielle stared at the notice in her dressing room mirror. Makeup smudged like war paint. Elena burst in. "Marry Raul now. He can sponsor you properly." The troupe buzzed, solidarity but laced with pity. Sophia called from Spain. "Don't settle for safety, Gabby. Fight for fire." That night, Gabrielle walked the high line, the city lights blurring through tears. Below, taxis honked like impatient lovers. Above, stars hid behind pollution. She texted Hope, fingers flying. "It's over. They're onto us. I can't drag you down." Hope's reply was instant. "I'm on the next flight. We face this together." She arrived at dawn, disheveled from the red-eye, crashing into Gabrielle's arms outside the theater. "I told Mia everything," Hope confessed, as they huddled in a diner over eggs that neither ate. "Broke it off for good. And my family. I came out to them last week. Full blast. No more hiding." Gabrielle searched her face, seeing the bruises of battle, dark circles, a resolve hardened like steel. "Why now?" "Because losing you taught me. Family isn't blood or green cards. It's who stays when the stage lights dim." Hope took her hand. "We'll appeal. Hire a lawyer. Or hell, start over here. I can freelance." The high of reunion crashed into logistics. They met an immigration attorney in a glass tower. Sharp-suited, optimistic for a fee they scraped together via GoFundMe from the troupe. "Bona fides," he stressed. "Prove the love. Photos, affidavits, even a joint therapy session where Gabrielle admitted her fear of abandonment, Hope her terror of unworthiness. But betrayal's shadow lengthened. Raul, stung by rejection, confronted Gabriel post-show. You're throwing away security for a gringa who'll leave when it's hard? His words, twisted with hurt, reached Elena, who relayed them to their mother via frantic call. Mama arrived unannounced, a whirlwind of rosaries and recriminations, booking a flight from Seville. This perversion ends now, she declared in the hotel lobby, voice echoing off marble. Come home or lose us all. Gabrielle stood firm, hope at her side. Mama, this is home. She's my family. The words ignited a firestorm. Sobs, accusations, Elena mediating with weary sighs. Mama left in tears, but not before hugging Hope stiffly. If you hurt her, Dios will know. April waned, the tour ending on a high note. A sold-out gala where Gabrielle dedicated her finale to found families. Backstage, Hope waited with roses. We're in this, she whispered. But the lawyer's call shattered the afterglow. Review denied. Fraud suspected. Deportation hearing in 2 weeks. Despair settled like fog. Gabrielle packed, visions of Seville's jails flashing, detention centers for illegals. Hope paced, calling favors, but bureaucracy was a wall. Run, Hope urged one night, as thunder rumbled over the Hudson. To Canada, Mexico, anywhere. And leave you? No. Gabrielle cupped her face. We fight. The hearing was in a sterile federal building. Fluorescent lights buzzing like accusations. Dressed in her best, Gabrielle in a flamenco-inspired dress, Hope in a blazer. They faced the judge, a stern woman with wire-rimmed glasses. Testimonies poured out. Luca on their undeniable chemistry, Sophia on Gabrielle's growth, even Elena, via video, admitting, love like theirs? It's rare. Don't punish it. But evidence mounted against them. The timeline gaps, Mia's tip, subpoenaed and exposed. The judge recessed, returning with a gavel's echo. Petition denied.
Removal proceeding commence.
Gabrielle's world tilted. As officers approached, Hope lunged forward. Wait. This is my fault, I pushed the marriage. Punish me. The judge paused, eyes softening. Ms. Whitaker, your candor is noted. But laws are laws. In the hallway, chaos erupted. Protesters from a queer rights group, tipped by the lawyer, chanted outside, signs reading Love Knows No Borders. Media swarmed, a local news van capturing the moment. 2 women clinging, rain starting to fall through the open doors. Deportation's shadow stretched long, but it forged them unbreakable. The next days blurred into advocacy. Petitions circulating online, signatures from artists and expats, even a viral video of Gabrielle's gala dance synced to their story. Hope quit her job remotely, channeling energy into a blog. From sham to sacred, a love under scrutiny. It exploded, shared by influencers drawing letters from strangers. Your courage is our mirror. Gabrielle, confined to ankle-monitor house arrest in the village apartment they'd sublet, channeled fear into creation. She choreographed a new piece, Exile's Flame, performed via livestream by the troupe, proceeds funding legal appeals. Hope read fan mail aloud each evening, their hands intertwined. Stories of hidden loves, rejected proposals, green cards won and lost. We're not alone, Hope said, kissing Gabrielle's knuckles. But solitude bred doubt. Nights, Gabrielle dreamed of Seville's warmth, waking to New York's chill and the monitor's cold beep. What if we lose? She whispered once as sirens wailed below. Hope pulled her close. Then we rebuild. Spain, Chicago, anywhere. Family follows. Mama's transformation came quietly. A week into the limbo, she Skyped from Andalusia. Face lined but eyes softer. Elena showed me your video, Mija. The dancing. Siu. All fire. Pause. And hope. She fights for you like I should have. No grand apology but a plain ticket followed. Mama arriving in New York, rosary in pocket but hugs instead of lectures. Over dim sum in Chinatown, Hope translating the menu with goofy flair. Mama shared her own secret. A youthful crush on a village seamstress, buried under marriage and motherhood. I chose fear, she admitted. Don't you? The reunion mended fractures. Elena joined, the sisters reconciling over gelato in Little Italy, trading stories of lost loves. Raoul even messaged, if she's your rhythm, hold on. Hope's family, slower to thaw, sent a care package, jerseys from her childhood Little League team, a note from Dad. Proud of the woman you're becoming. Bring her home sometime. The appeals board reconvened in May, sunlight slanting through courtroom blinds like hesitant hope. New evidence piled high. Psychological evals affirming their bond, affidavits from Mia. Contrite, tearful. I was wrong. Jealous. Let them stay. The judge, same as before, reviewed the file, her expression unreadable. In light of public interest and compelling testimony, she intoned finally, the denial is overturned. Conditional permanent residency granted, with follow-up in 1 year. The gavel fell like grace. Gabrielle sagged into hope, sobs mingling with laughter. Mama clasping their hands in a circle of unlikely kin. Outside, protesters cheered. Cameras flashed. But in the quiet cab ride home it was just them, Hope's head on Gabrielle's shoulder. The city unfolding like a promise. Summer bloomed in earnest. The green card arrived, a plastic talisman, photo booth stiff but symbolizing victory. Gabrielle enrolled in a dance conservatory, her visa now a bridge to Broadway dreams. Hope launched a consultancy for expat creatives. Their apartment a hub for potlucks blending tapas and deep dish pizza. Mama stayed a month, learning subway routes and baking polverons for neighbors, her presence a balm. Not all scars faded. Trust took time. Therapy sessions where Gabrielle unpacked abandonment, Hope her privilege. Mia faded into occasional emails, a cautious friendship forged in forgiveness. The troupe toured again, this time with Hope as manager. Their love the unspoken encore. One October evening as leaves turned gold in Central Park, they sat on a bench overlooking the reservoir. Gabrielle, in jeans and a sweater that smelled of Hope's cologne, leaned in. A year ago, I thought marriage was a cage. Hope smiled, threading fingers through hers. Now it's freedom. With you. She pulled a small box from her pocket, not the forged ring but a new one. Silver etched with intertwined flames. Will you? For real this time. Hope's yes was a vow, sealed with a kiss as joggers blurred past, the world indifferent but kind. Seville called them back the next spring, for a proper wedding in the Alcazar, under arches that had witnessed centuries of secrets. Family converged. Mama beaming, Elena toasting with Sherry, Hope's parents awkward but present, toasting to unexpected paths. The troupe performed, guitars strumming a fusion of flamenco and blues. Gabrielle danced down the aisle, skirt swirling, Hope waiting in a suit that hugged her like destiny. Afterward, under starlit skies, they slipped away to the riverbank. We found our family, Gabrielle murmured, head on Hope's chest. Hope kissed her temple. The one we built. Stronger than any card. In the years that followed, life wove its tapestry. A daughter adopted from a foster program, her laughter echoing in their Brooklyn brownstone. Gabrielle's off-Broadway acclaim, Hope's TED Talk on love as immigration. Challenges came. Visa renewals, family squabbles, the grind of co-parenting. But they met them hand in hand, roots deepened by trials. America, for Gabrielle, was no longer a dream but a canvas, painted with the colors of chosen kin. And in Hope's arms she found the home she'd chased across oceans. Not perfect but profoundly hers.